VFX the Friday that Christmas break started, and the final Blu-ray was out of the drive 2 minutes before we left the company. So, and we have been working round the clock pretty much. Matt had a couple all-nighters that we pulled, set up a command center, and cranked everything out in probably about 60, 70 hours of actual working the past 2 weeks. This is a long time.
Any other questions from the audience? Yes?
What kind of elements went into composing the soundtrack?
So the question was, what kind of elements went into composing the soundtrack? Is there anything once there?
The composer is actually in the UK, Tom Newman, and I found him online looking for a demo, and he said he would be happy to do the trailer, and we were blessed to be able to get him to actually do the movie. So I can't answer the question of how it was actually composed, but he really wanted to be here. He was very excited that he could do the film, and I think it made for a great soundtrack.
Well, I know he actually used this project as his senior thesis project at the composing school in Leeches he was at in the UK somewhere. So this was actually like a grade for him to graduate from this program. So he put, the music was, it was one of my favorite parts of the whole movie. I mean, I'm huge on the music, and I told him, I said, you know, like I love John Williams, and I kind of wanted that feel to it. You know, I wanted something really triumphant, and at the same time, he had these parts where it was really soft, and you know, the whole story about the family. So the actual how he did it, I think I actually have no idea. He would just send it to me, and it sounded good, so we put it in the movie. I've actually never had a conversation with him other than on email or Facebook. So I have no idea what he's like actually.
Shot on the Canon T2i, so it's like one of those tiny DSLR that shoot videos. So it's really tiny, it's weird. We had a couple of them through the school, so it was great that we had the school support with lights and like just vehicles to transport the stands and everything, because there was a lot of equipment for this like tiny but really ambitious project.
As far as editing software goes, we used Adobe's Creative Suite 5.5. Most of it was done, like Matt did the editing for it, and then he would send us the project files, and we would compile them with the effects in After Effects, and then Encore for Blu-ray that we just watched it on. And everything pretty much stayed on one of our 3 computers with little pieces going out into the sound, and to get the sound mix and to get the score done. But most of it was done with Adobe software.
Any other questions here? Yes, right there, exactly.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Matt, how closely you stuck to your original screenplay, or did you make adjustments while you were filming it? You saw things that worked better?
I actually wish someone would ask me that, because I just saw an interview with Steven Spielberg where I've seen everything he's ever been in. But he said that a script is very fluid, and it changes throughout the whole production. And that's really what it was. I mean, the way it started was this time last year, a little bit earlier, I started writing the script, and I had a first draft. I actually wrote treatments. I wrote a treatment for this movie and then for another movie, and I actually showed them to Mr. A, to Ryan, and he read them through, and I started writing this one, and I wrote most of it over Christmas break, and then I wrote it into a lot of last year. In fact, I actually kind of changed my sleeping pattern. I would wake up at 5 to do homework, because at nights I would write the script. So it took about like a couple months to get it finished, and then if you look at the most recent finished printed draft to what the movie is, I would say like a huge amount of it was changed. Because there's something about like writing it all on the paper, and you want to film it all just so you know you capture the whole storyline. And then when you look at it, you realize that people are smarter than you think, and so you don't need to explain something and then go to it. You can just kind of go to it. So, I mean, there's still things that I know I can cut down. I mean, I always would be wanting to work on it, but so the actual finished product compared to the script is a lot more condensed. It's a lot more, and it's a very visual movie. So to write a movie like that is a lot different. I think people tried to read the script, and I know my family couldn't really get through it. They're like, "Oh, this is cool. You're writing a movie, man." So it's not like a talkie. It's like a comedy. It's not fun to read. So, well, I mean, I had fun, but I mean, the way that the project kind of began was I actually, you saw this before my dad. My dad passed away when I was in 5th grade, and I always kind of wanted to write about my relationship with him. And so instead of that dynamic of having a son lose a father, I kind of wanted to write about a father losing a son. Not really out of spite, but just to kind of turn the role around. And I thought that a movie about death would be kind of boring if it was just all about death, so then I added in this whole sci-fi paranormal aspect, just to be fun, actually. And I just kind of thought it was really interesting to, people who go into purgatory and all that kind of stuff, because I'm really interested in all that. And so then I gave the script to Mr. A, and I asked him if he would produce it for me, because I knew it was very ambitious, a lot of locations, a lot of different actors, and the whole visual effects aspect was all things that we didn't really know we could do at all when we started to do it. So I really didn't believe I was going to make the film until the last day when we stopped rolling the camera and the film was actually made. Because every day I just thought that the next day would just be too hard to do, stuff would be too hard to do, because it was very ambitious, and as much as we tried to schedule something, plan it out, we are still all people who, it's not like our professions, we don't all day, or at least I'm talking about crew aspect, it's not, we still have families. I know it was a big learning summer for me and my family, because I was off, for 18 hours a day doing things, and that's something that most parents aren't used to their kids doing. So it was, so for what we had, for the time we had, and for the passion behind it, I honestly couldn't be prouder to answer your question.
I love you.
How did you do your casting? How did you do your
Well, we made use of Backstage West casting in LA, LA casting. Jonathan, how did LA casting, yeah. Essentially, just Matt drew up some character descriptions and posted them online. In the trades, essentially, and in those trades, you have to specify whether it's paying, non-paying, union, non-union, whatever. And then people submit for it. You look and see if their resume, the picture fits everything. That's essentially what we did. I set all those things up, and then some of those things that I would sort of weed through for Matt. So Matt, what do you think about this direction for this character, or not? And he said, well, let's narrow it down to this few, and then that's the people that we try to get a hold of. And since it was LA, a lot of times what we try to do is do it online. So modern technology is great with filmmaking at this level, because you can really make use of the digital technology. And well, as far as Jonathan, let's have you read. If you can just read one of these things, just record it and post it up online. That way we'll see. It doesn't matter the quality of the video, really. Just get it done so we can see. That way we don't have to cart anybody out here from LA to do a casting session. We just see right away how they react, how they do things. We did that that was a major part of our casting for it. Tom Virtue, you guys see Tom Virtue, who knows who Tom Virtue's awesome. And he actually contacted Matt because he was so excited about the project. And Matt ran that whole thing. I never even talked. I was so impressed when I did that. But there was actually a bigger cast than we originally set out for. So let's make a movie. Let's do one for a general audience to make it great. And I said, next time, Matt, 2 actors, 1 location. 1 location, just make it simple. So really, I hope that answers the question. And then when we narrowed it down, we came up to Matt what he wanted. And as I say, Matt, and most directors know that 75% of directors' job is done in the casting. You get
95%.
They can get their 95%. Really fast. Your job's a lot easier.